Hi everyone, welcome back again. So I thought let me guys show you the process of compiling and editing my news before it goes on air, because to be quite honest, we don't all sound as perfect and as fluent as we do on air. So here's the process. So I arrive at work exactly at 6 o'clock in the morning so that I can prepare my 7 o'clock news bulletin. First things first, I had to open the Word document, fill in my name, the time of the news bulletin, and today's date. Then I go to websites so that I can look for news, especially local news, because that's one of the main things that the community radio station is trying to promote. So I switch on the TV and then tune into different news channels so that I can get different perspective of how they cover the same news in different angles and so forth. Like I've mentioned, I have to source local content, especially for my first story on each and every news bulletin. So the best website that I can recommend for someone who's in the Vaal is Ster, which covers the whole Silibeng region. And also I look at Orange Farm News, which also cover Orange Farm and other surrounding areas in Orange Farm. And another website that I can also recommend if you're living in the Vaal and you want local content, especially when it comes to current affairs, is 96.9 FM stereo. So when it comes to news, make sure that the news that you're sourcing is not 24 hours old, because that's considered as old stories. So make sure that all the stories that you're sourcing is less than 20 hours, I could say. Then less than 20 hours, it would be considered as a fresh news story. But more than 24 hours, it's an old story. So as you can see right here, I was copying and pasting news stories from different news websites so that I can compile them properly, check spellings, check grammar, and just edit them out. For my national stories and provincial stories, I use credible websites like SABC News, Eyewitness News, and IOL. These websites are one of the best websites for any news stories that you want. Because I don't know how to cut clips yet, so I usually opt for short stories so that I don't run out of breath whenever I speak on air. I know it's different for different folks, but however, my news bulletin comprises of 3 stories, which is a local story, a national story, and an international story on weekends. And then during the week, it would be all those 3 that I've mentioned, plus commodities and market update and weather update. Also on weekends, I also add a weather update. I usually cover 3 areas on my weather update because we're a community radio station. We don't have that much of a footprint. So it's just Johannesburg, Pretoria, and Vereeniging. Because I was compiling news and recording at the same time is quite a hard job, so it took me about 30 minutes to compile my news bulletin. So after that, I had to edit and rehearse my news. Good morning, it's exactly 7 o'clock. Let's quickly take a look at our headlines, followed by our full bulletin news for this hour. Tata FM News, and I'm Lebohang Dashe. Anger grows as Emfuleni local municipality salaries are not paid. Prince Buthelezi considering stepping down from Amazulu royal role. And lastly, musicians launch a drive for more funding for arts in Africa. Full details on those stories coming up next. Yesterday, Encha's Emfuleni local municipality employees and councillors had still not received salaries, a delay blamed on an administrative glitch in the upliftment of an Eskom attachment order on a municipal bank account. Salaries will have to be paid on Thursday after the municipality and Eskom reached agreement to allow municipal salaries to be paid.
The deal was also confirmed by Eskom and was reached on Tuesday in a meeting including Gauteng Premier Panyaza Sophie and Emfuleni Local Municipality Executive Mayor Sipho Khatebe. The contents of the deal have not been made public. But as of yesterday morning, salaries for employees and councillors had not yet been paid, but the delay was ascribed to a miscommunication in the long administrative chain necessary to lift bank attachments. Repeated salary delays have sparked widespread anger against Eskom, which had previously made payments delays regarded as impossible to lift its bank attachment on the municipal salary account. Eskom has repeatedly applied month-end blackmail pressure for huge payments from municipality, including fund ring-fenced for service delivery. Emfuleni Local Municipality owes Eskom more than 6 billion rand and Rand Water more than 1 billion rand. The ailing power utility is also now again threatening to cut off electricity supply to Emfuleni, according to a leaked Eskom letter to Emfuleni Local Municipality, which highlights the ambush tactics used by the utility in its dealing with the municipality. AmaZulu traditional Prime Minister Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi has told traditional leaders attending a meeting in Umhlathuze on the KwaZulu-Natal North Coast that he is considering stepping down from his position as the Prime Minister. He claims that the recent disagreement with AmaZulu King Misizulu KwaZulu have made it difficult for him to continue serving in his position. Buthelezi called a meeting with Amakosi for their guidance on a way forward. However, in an interview with SABC's Okozi FM Current Affairs show on Wednesday, AmaZulu King Misizulu KwaZulu dismissed reports of a fallout between him and Prince Buthelezi. And lastly, let's quickly take a look at our international story for this hour. Musicians have launched a drive for more funding for performers in Africa. Artists from Ghana, Ethiopia, and Tanzania have helped launch a 5-year project to help to secure more funds for arts and culture, aiming to persuade the African government to allocate at least 1% of their budgets. The project called Connect for Culture Africa has been started by the African Union in collaboration with the Salem Ethiopia, a non-governmental organization that uses film, music, and circus performances to address issues such as women's rights. For now, though, let's quickly close off with the weather update for this hour. Most parts of the Gauteng province are expected to have clear blue skies, with Johannesburg sitting at 11 degrees Celsius, expected to peak to the highs of 19 degrees Celsius later in the afternoon. Pretoria 14 and 21, and lastly Vereeniging 9 and 22. For now, though, let's quickly take a recap of the top stories for this hour. Anger grows as Emfuleni Local Municipality's salaries are not paid. Prince Buthelezi considering stepping down from AmaZulu royal role. And lastly, musicians launch drive for more funding for arts in Africa.
So after I'm done rehearsing, I have to copy and paste my news bulletin to my email and send it over my email because there was no printer and there's no newsreaders monitors inside the studio. So after sending the news bulletin to my email, I have to rehearse again and again and again. So guys, as you can see, there's no such a thing as perfection in this industry. We all have to rehearse. So after rehearsing and editing my news bulletin, I had to go inside the studio and broadcast a news bulletin at every top of the hour. I do this process at each and every top of the hour. However, during the week, you'd also add a bottom of the hour news headlines where the sports presenter would also do his sports bulletin at each and every bottom of the hour. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.